What can we learn from the Buddha? The Buddha's discovery. The Buddha was born in India 566 years before the modern era. Buddha Dharma was discovered by this historical Buddha, and the sermons which he gave expressing his findings were transmitted orally for hundreds of years before they were written down and preserved in their present form, which we call sutras, now the common heritage of all people. We use the word discovered to relate to the teaching of the Buddha with the Buddha himself. This is because Buddha Dharma is not something the Buddha created after speculating on the matter. Rather, he discovered the law which runs through the universe and, what is most important, experienced it in his own life. This is why he is called the Buddha, which means the enlightened one. In this sense, the law of Buddha Dharma, which he discovered, is similar to the laws of nature. The law of gravity was discovered by Isaac Newton, but even if Newton had not discovered the law which shows the relationship between two masses, that law would still be in effect and control the movement of all things in this universe. The one way in which the law of Buddha Dharma differs from natural law is that the Buddha Dharma discovered by the Buddha was specifically in answer to the question, how do I overcome my present suffering? The Buddha expressed his discovery in logical systemizations, which we call today the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. They are further expressed in other very sophisticated doctrinal formulations, but basic to all these formulations is the law of cause and effect, which can be said to be the distinctive feature of what the Buddha discovered. Let us suppose that a person is injured by a piece of machinery while at work. In this unfortunate circumstance, that person will probably take one of the following attitudes regarding his injury. He will go to a doctor to have his injury taken care of, and then wonders if he will get some compensation for his injury. Then he will probably think about the cause of his injury, that he should have been a little more careful when he was using the machine, or that the setup was bad, or that the machine was not designed well, etc. Among those who may be injured will be those who will believe their injury was due to the fact that they had just walked under a ladder, or that it was Friday the 13th. Because of the recent revival of interest in the occult, some may believe their injury was due to a curse wished on them by their enemy. Some will feel that life is a struggle, and that their injury is just one more thing that they will have to put up with. What would the Buddha suggest in a case such as described above? In a very well-known story, known as the Parable of the Poisoned Arrow, the Buddha taught as follows. Suppose you are suddenly struck by a poisoned arrow. The members of your family, relatives, and close friends crowd around and make arrangements to remove the arrow and apply an antidote to the poison. But what would happen if you stopped them, saying, "Wait, before you remove the arrow, I must know what sort of a person would do a thing like this to me. I must know whether the person who shot it was male or female. I must also know how the bow and arrow were made, and the type of poison used. Do not remove the arrow unless you can explain these things to me." If you took such an attitude, it is obvious that the poison would gradually seep through your body, and that you would die. Similarly, there is no time to ask what the structure of the universe is, whether we have an immortal soul, or whether a Buddha exists or not. First, pull out the arrow, tend to your wound, and then you may speculate on these matters if you wish. But the answer to these speculations is in no way connected with healing your wound. We have just presented an example in terms of an injury, but if you should happen to incur an injury or become ill, you must trust your doctor. Although the study of medicine has progressed a great deal, in comparison with an absolute standard of healing, there is still much to learn. However, since healing is the specialized study of doctors, you must trust their judgment. When the Buddha became ill, he was cared for by Biba, the Lord of Healing. Although we are all willing to endure the pain of a dentist's drill in order to fill a cavity in our teeth, we feel no similar compulsion to seek specialized help in filling the cavity in our heart. Those with incomplete spiritual lives, who are gifted mentally and physically, are worse off than those who are not so gifted, because they will use their talents to fill the emptiness. This works to a certain degree, but it will never carry you to enlightenment. If your body becomes injured or ill, it will raise the temperature and show other symptoms of illness. If your spiritual heart becomes injured or ill, it also develops symptoms. Greed, anger, a complaining attitude. These are symptoms all of us have. We must seek the care of and receive the treatment prescribed by the doctor of the heart, the Buddha.